Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we left off yesterday in the lecture notes. We are still talking about the atmosphere and what's in the atmosphere. We've gone over the different elements, the different compounds. Carbon dioxide we mentioned briefly yesterday. Really all I need you guys to know is that carbon does move through the earth, at all spheres of the earth in two different carbon cycles. There's a short term and a long term. And that carbon dioxide is one of the main compounds in the atmosphere, and it is a greenhouse gas. And that the increase of carbon dioxide is what is leading to global climate change, which obviously is not in the forefront of people's minds right now, but it is a problem. All right, so I think I showed this yesterday. This is a chart of the long-term carbon cycle. Don't worry about knowing it. I just included it in case you guys were curious. All right, water vapor in the atmosphere. So there's lots and lots of water vapor in the atmosphere. It's what creates clouds. It's what creates humidity. So if you go outside in the summer, especially around here, and you feel like sticky and gross, that's from water vapor. That's humidity. And we talked about this when we did our streams and rivers unit. But water, you guys know, we talked about the water cycle. Water evaporates into the air as invisible gas. That is evapotranspiration. It's released by plants and animals. When it enters the air, it can be removed by condensation and precipitation. Depends on the time of day, location, and season. So you're going to get more evaporation in hot locations than you are in cold. All right, so you've seen this picture of the water cycle before. I just included it as a point of reference. All right, so ozone. Part of the atmosphere is what we call the ozone layer. And it is a specific layer that is composed up entirely of ozone gas. It's a gas molecule made of 3 oxygen atoms. So the air that we breathe is O2, but oxygen is actually O3. And ozone is actually both good and bad. When it is up in the ozone layer, it absorbs tons of UV radiation from the sun. So it's really, really great. One of the problems back in the 80s was that a lot of products released what were called chlorofluorocarbons. And those actually chemically interact with the ozone in the atmosphere and destroy it. So there was a really big hole in the atmosphere, and it's gotten smaller over time. It is sort of healing itself from what we artificially did to it. But there is still a permanent hole up in the atmosphere over Australia that grows and shrinks every year with the changing seasons. Which is why if you live in Australia, you are something like 500 times more likely to get skin cancer than anywhere else on the planet. I think it's 500 times. I'll have to double check that figure. But yeah, if you live in Australia, skin cancer is probably in your future. So they're big fans of sunblock down there. All right. So, like I said, it's both good and bad. When it's up in the atmosphere, it's good. When it's down at our level, at ground level, it's bad. It is a poisonous gas. When we breathe it in, it's not good for us. It's one of the main components of smog, and it's given off by car exhaust. Anytime you're burning fossil fuels, ozone is one of the things that's given off in addition to carbon dioxide. So that is why a lot of times in really busy cities on a hot day, you'll see, like in the morning, they'll have smog warnings. LA has these a lot, Los Angeles. And that's why they say people with breathing issues that have like kids with asthma or older people, senior citizens, they're supposed to stay inside when there's a smog warning. So it's one of the components of air pollution in the air that we breathe. Not good. All right, this is a video, a short video on good and bad ozone. I'm going to assign this to you guys separately, so don't worry about it for now. All right, and the last thing we're going to talk about are particulates in the atmosphere. So this is all of the stuff that's in the atmosphere that's not a gas, it's not water, it's not carbon dioxide, it's not any of the gases that we've talked about already. This is all that other stuff. All right, so there's volcanic dust, ash from fires. Anytime you have coal combustion, stuff coming out of vehicles, traffic dust. I mean, you've been driving on the road and seen, you know, dust and stuff coming off of people's tires and things. Microscopic organisms, so bacteria and particularly viruses right now, that's a component of the atmosphere. That's in the air we breathe. Mineral particles in the form of dust, pollen from plants, that's what's driving your guys' allergies nuts right now. Space dust. And if we were to live near the ocean, which we don't, but people that live along the coast, there's little ocean water particulates in the atmosphere as well. That's why when you get close to the beach, you can smell it. All right, so those are all the different components of the atmosphere. And I will call it a day here.